We're now at the Eagle County Court in Eagle, Colorado, where an officer's called into a courtroom to assist with an investigation. A crime seems to have been committed. Who committed the crime is still in question.
Hello.
So, these two gentlemen are standing here. This gentleman is standing right here. I heard something hit the ground. Put his foot on it. And I stepped back. He kept looking at me. And pulled his foot off. And there you go.
Okay, this one or this one? All right.
Would you be able to take some pictures of this before it's picked up or anything? Just so we can have it for the court case.
Sure.
The item of interest is this small packet filled with a suspicious white powder, which turns out to be cocaine.
Why don't we step outside so everyone can get back to what they're doing, okay?
So, I'm going to ask you a question, okay?
So let's step out of the courtroom. I'll Mirandize you. Let's have a conversation about what happened, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty, let's do that.
The guy next to me, I heard something drop. The
Yep.
guy next to me said, is that drug? So I look down and I go like this, you know? I go back, I like, and I see the little bag there. This guy said, oh, excuse me, something fell off of this gentleman's pocket. I said, did you literally see something fall out of my pocket? You know, this is a serious crime.
So why do all the independent witnesses in there tell me that it came out of your pocket?
Well, it's like I tell you, if somebody saw something, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
If it wasn't your drugs, tell me whose drugs you think it was.
Probably the next guy standing next to me.
Okay, which guy is that? The guy in the red?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, there's camera right there. Let's look at the camera because I have nothing.
And did that come from you today? Out of your pockets?
The man in red doesn't speak English and is using an interpreter.
So this is what we're going to do. We're trying to look at the video footage right now.
So they do just that. Did you see that? Look again closely. The evidence seems to be clear.
In the courtroom, there's video. And it recorded it coming out of your hand or your hat as you had your hands behind your back. You are under arrest. Turn around, place your hands behind your back.
Juan Bibriesca has narcotics possession and a bond violation added to the drug charges he was already facing in court.
I'm getting arrested again?
You are. You can't have cocaine. It's illegal. And it's really bad when you drop it in the courtroom in front of the judge.
We're in the George Layton Criminal Courthouse in Chicago, Illinois. Judge Joseph Claps strolls through the lobby, as he's done plenty of times over his 20-year career. Only today, he drops something on the floor. Normally, this wouldn't be a big deal, only the item that Claps drops on the floor is reportedly a loaded satin silver revolver. In Illinois, weapons, even if you're properly licensed, are prohibited inside courthouses, unless you're an officer on duty. Notice how as Claps passes the security desk, he waves hello to a court security officer, and the revolver falls out of his jacket, which is folded over his arm. With people watching, he reaches down to pick it up, stumbles a bit, then casually puts the object in his pants pocket and walks away. When the judge arrives at the elevators, Claps puts the gun back under his coat and continues with his day. But two other deputies standing by the doors also took notice when Claps dropped his weapon. While they didn't take immediate action, they later report the incident to a lieutenant. Claps, who did have a valid firearm owner's ID card and a concealed carry license, is charged 3 days later with carrying a concealed weapon in a prohibited area, which is a Class B misdemeanor. The judge was placed on administrative duty and faced up to 6 months in jail and a $2,500 fine if convicted. But just 3 months later, and despite eyewitness testimony from the two deputies, he's acquitted of the charge. The court ruled the prosecution had failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, that the object Claps dropped was actually a firearm. Next, we head to Bernalillo County Metropolitan Court in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's Valentine's Day, and instead of playing Cupid, this woman is about to do something stupid. Stacy Ochoa has spent hours observing the day's proceedings, posing as a criminal justice student. Sitting in the gallery, Ochoa takes a few minutes to chat with lawyers, then approaches the bench, presumably to continue the discussion. Moments later, she takes a seat in one of the chairs reserved for inmates waiting to see the judge. As the lawyers turn their attention to the clerk, Ochoa slumps back. Now pay close attention to her left hand. Ochoa waits another minute, then quietly leaves the courtroom. About 20 minutes later, a group of inmates enter the courtroom. One of them, Frank Chappelle, taps an inmate sitting in front of him on the shoulder. Waiting till everyone's distracted with the business at hand, the inmate reaches under the seat where Ochoa previously sat. Authorities say Ochoa was not actually an inquisitive criminal justice student. It was all just an elaborate ruse used to pass an illegal Valentine's Day pick-me-up to a friend behind bars. She was charged with trafficking meth and distributing marijuana, received 3 years probation. But there is a happy ending. Ochoa and Chappelle were married in 2019. It's 11:07 a.m. in the Lorain Municipal Court in Lorain, Ohio. The court's empty after a busy morning, and a security officer's making his usual rounds. He comes across something unusual, a small bag filled with some kind of powder. He's not entirely sure what it is, so he has it tested. It turns out to be cocaine. So the court rewinds the tape to 9:34 a.m., just before the bag appears on the floor. And this man steps up to the gate. Watch closely as he moves his hat. One more time. A warrant's immediately issued for Lamar Reed's arrest. Reed was in court on 2 traffic violations, driving under a suspended license and speeding. He now faces a 5th-degree felony charge and a max of a year in prison. Next, we head to the Cowlitz County Courthouse in Washington State. It's 12:40 p.m., just outside the security desk. The woman seen here is Michelle Flavin. Notice she's carrying a pink box. Don't worry, it's nothing dangerous, just a birthday cake for her 9-year-old daughter. She's bringing it inside the courthouse because she's afraid if she leaves it in the car, her dog will eat it. Flavin asks the security officer, there in white, to keep an eye on the cake while she meets with her sister inside. Her cake should be fine at a security checkpoint inside a courthouse. A few minutes later, this man, Robert Fredrickson, arrives at the courthouse. Fredrickson's here because of an indecent exposure charge. He's 50 years old. Fredrickson and the woman in front of him send their valuables through the metal detector. Just out of the frame, Fredrickson sees the birthday cake left with the officer. And what does he do? He puts his hand right in the cake and takes a bite. A woman notices the shameless act and might be thinking she's being punked. There goes Fredrickson, who appears to be licking his fingers. He heads to the water fountain, probably to wash evidence off his hands. The woman calls over another security officer. The officer in white, meanwhile, has eyes on the cake and can see the damage. Not only is Fredrickson busted, he's still licking cake from his fingers. The group gathers around the table, and that's when Fredrickson does the inexplicable. He goes back for seconds. The officer in white has seen enough of this frosting-filled crime scene. Fredrickson and the cake are thrown to the ground. A few more guards arrive, and Fredrickson is arrested. On top of the initial indecent exposure charge he was facing that day, Fredrickson also picked up another charge of third-degree theft, which was the icing on the cake. As for Flavin, a local grocery store heard about the incident and provided her with a brand new cake.